Aloha everybody, what is really good? Today we got another RuneScape news coverage for you. So we're going to be talking about the weapon diversity updates and where Jagex plans to go with that going forward. So without any further ado, let's jump right into the video. Let's go.
Jagex is the illest. What you talking about, Willis?
Alright guys, this is information coming from the main news post on the RuneScape website. I'll have a link to it down in the description below if you do want to read it in its entirety, but we're going to discuss the gist of it, where Jagex plans on taking the weapon diversity updates, and the difficulties when trying to flesh out that update. So, first and foremost, it's unfortunate to say that they are canceling the weapon diversity update. It's not a decision they took lightly, and it was aimed to come out next month, but there's reasons why that is no longer the case. So what happened between the beta release and now? So following the beta, the team got together to discuss feedback and issues, etc. And here are the main problems. The overriding impression was that the effects were not chunky or transformative enough. Players were expecting utility benefits, something like the 2 square distance attacks from halberds. Next up, some of the effects were just modifiers to your DPS. This meant that there wasn't actually much differentiation between the weapons, and most players would simply obviously opt for the one with the highest DPS modifier. And finally, they were actually further from finishing the project than they had anticipated. They needed to redesign several problematic weapons, find a decent method for communicating the effects to the player, and complete significant testing. The team estimated that they've completed roughly 50% of the project, when they estimated that they would have been at 80% at that point. So taking together all those issues, it was clear that they needed to reassess the weapon diversity project. Now at this point they were at a crossroads and they did not know where they wanted to take the update itself. There were several options that they were considering. First off, they could plow through the update regardless, doing their hardest to redesign the poorer weapons and test the remainder of the project so there was no issues. This obviously wouldn't have nailed their goals in terms of weapon diversity, but it wouldn't have much negative effect on the game. In fact, it might have a small positive effect. This would mean that we would expect it in October, but it would draw resources from other projects. The second option they could have went for is restarting the project with brand new aims. They would make sure every weapon had its strong utility benefit and would design it openly with the community. Utility benefits would be more difficult to design and develop, so it would mean a launch sometime in February. This is basically a whole new update and would replace one of the other updates on their roadmap. And the third and final option is to cancel the project altogether. This would mean that other projects in development would remain as they are and would gain additional QA resources to help tighten those up. That said, where does Jagex plan on going? Ultimately, it was unanimous to cancel the project. QA resources would be used on other projects that they're currently working on that they plan on announcing next month on a RuneFest. But there is one caveat. They still want to have some kind of weapon diversity update for the game. So they decided to get the design team together to create new utility benefits for weapons, which will be introduced over time rather than one large chunk update. So for example, there may be a new quest that comes out with a new javelin in the game. Whenever they release this new javelin per se, they would update all javelins to have the new javelin effect. That's just an example. Now they are aware that this is probably disappointing a lot of people who were expecting the weapon diversity updates, but they ultimately feel that this is the best direction to go. Do give your feedback on the forums, the official Discord channel, as well as Reddit. If there's any particular benefits to any of the weapons that are already in the beta that you just want to see carry over, because they are not against simply letting some of the current updates that are in the beta in terms of weapon diversity. If the community wants those enough, they can bring them in. It doesn't have to be completely overhauled with new effects. So if there's any weapon type in particular you want, again, give your feedback. So there you have it. Weapon diversity is canceled, but obviously there's that caveat that they do not want to completely let go of the idea of weapon diversity and do want to roll out changes to weapon types over time as, as reward spaces are made available. So what do you think about this? I was really excited about weapon diversity, although it was really a big DPS update to all the weapons really. It was still a nice little change considering we haven't had an update in a very long time. So it is unfortunate to see that that's not going to be the case. I am curious to see exactly what's getting announced at RuneFest because we really do need some kind of update right around the corner, hopefully soon, to get the community all excited once again because it's been very bland lately. That being said, let me know what you guys think about it. Again, the link to this is down in the description below. Check it out. With that, I'm gonna wrap up the video. If you enjoyed it, hit that like button. If you're not subscribed yet and you want to stay up to date on all things RuneScape related, then hit that subscribe button. Anyways, I appreciate you watching. I am out. Peace.